All right, motherfucker. So let me get right to it. I'm doing another video here today. Samoa Joe is so overrated. There's nothing great about this guy. There's nothing really that stands out about him. You know, the smarks, the goofballs in the YWC and the IWC, they like to chant, "Joe is gonna kill you." And they have been chanting that same retarded shit for over a decade and a half, almost going on 2 decades now. Back when Samoa Joe used to highlight his hair like a Nancy boy with fucking, blonde shit. Now, I said in my Raw review, I remember looking at this guy's, they did a piece on him in WWE magazine, right? They said that, this guy is like your Samoan, the next Samoan big thing. Of course, we all found out that that wasn't true. The next big Samoan was Umaga, and then it ended up being Roman Reigns. Samoa Joe ended up in TNA, and people like to pretend like Joe had some amazing run in TNA, that he was like some type of god, and he was some type of god in Ring of Honor. They always used to talk about how stiff Joe was, and Ring of Honor was famous. I'll admit, I remember the Joe and Punk matches. They were entertaining. They were good stiff matches. It was a good rivalry. But people overrate Joe to the point of ridiculous heights. I mean, he's not that good. And the simple fact of the matter of why they took so long with Samoa Joe to come to WWE, why did it take so long? We saw Samoa Joe back in like 2001 or something on an episode of, Jacked or Metal, depending on where you live, the name of the show would change. So he ended up on a B show. And, that's all we saw of Joe pretty much. Or maybe it was Sunday Night Heat. I don't fucking know. Whatever show he ended up on, he never made it to the big leagues. Never was brought up to the main roster. And why is that? Because he looked like shit. He's always been fat. Now look at TNA. Look at all that stuff that what Scott Steiner said. That shit was fucking hilarious. He's fat. I don't have no donuts. I don't have no sugar. Exactly. Joe is fat. You look at him and people like to make like, oh, he's this big imposing guy. He's not that tall. He's heavy. He has sagging fucking man titties. What is the appeal of Joe? Oh, he's stiff. Okay. So, I don't get where this fascination with being stiff comes from. If you hit a guy and it makes a slapping noise, you're automatically a fucking god. Stone Cold used to throw some of the most realistic punches I've seen, and he wasn't considered to be stiff. The Rock wasn't considered to be stiff. Triple H was not considered to be stiff. The Undertaker was not considered to be stiff. Kane wasn't considered to be stiff. Hulk Hogan wasn't considered to be stiff. Macho Man wasn't considered to be stiff. None of these great legends were considered to be stiff, so who gives a fuck about being stiff? But I digress. It's all about being stiff, apparently. If your in-ring work matches that of an erection, of being stiff, you're automatically praised by the internet wrestling community. Alrighty then. Now, I was thinking to myself, and I put this up on Facebook, and I put it up in the chat online for the Vince Russo podcast. When he was reviewing SmackDown, I was really thinking to myself, and I just kind of blurted it out, wrote it out, Isn't Samoa Joe just basically a Samoan version of Kevin Owens? I mean, both are worshipped by the YWC and the IWC. Both are fat and out of shape. Both of them spent many years in Ring of Honor or, other indie promotions. And, basically were overrated by the fans, had their matches rated to crazy amounts. Now, I will admit that Kevin Owens got in a little bit better shape. He lost some weight. When he used to be Kevin Steen, the fans would give him a hard time. See, this is the thing that people don't seem to understand. I was a big ROH mark back in the day. And as I've gotten older, I've really lost the smarkiness. I've really lost my affection for a lot of these indie workers. They've turned out to be assholes. After going back on the network and watching all these old Raws and SmackDowns and pay-per-views, even the pay-per-views like in 2006, even non-Russo or Attitude Era, wrestling shows, you see how much better it was, how much better the guys looked. But Ring of Honor, when Kevin Steen was wrestling, the fans used to give him a hard time. They used to call him a fat ass. They used to scream out to him to lose weight. They used to say things like, get on Jenny Craig. I mean, the fans were not kind to him. The fans did not like Kevin Steen. But once they started up this whole thing about, fight, what was the thing? Kill Steen, kill, or something like that. And they made it look like a John Cena shirt. That's when people really started to like Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens, and that's when the fans got behind him. When they kind of changed it up, they gave him a tagline, and they made him a bit more vicious. And then he started really feuding with El Generico, Sami Zayn, which is unfortunately when we've seen 1,000 matches from them. But the thing is, you're really seeing the same guy, just Samoan with Samoa Joe. It's the same fucking thing. The guy is out of shape. He's fat, as Scott Steiner even said it in their feud. And there you go. I mean, everybody said it from the fans. All these phonies who like to pretend like they watched Ring of Honor back in the day. When are you going to kind of fess up already? He was not popular. He was not he wasn't popular with the fans at all. People did not like him. They thought he was fat. They thought that he was out of shape. They thought that he didn't belong there. You change his tagline to Kill Steen, Kill, and everyone was like, oh, he's amazing. Nothing had changed about Steen. Only, the way how they were booking him in matches, which was better. But the thing is, he was never that great. And it's the same thing with Samoa Joe. He was never that amazing. It's basically the fans propping him up. So the thing is, what you might be asking me is, why doesn't WWE try harder with somebody like Samoa Joe? Why is he not winning the title? So many fans got behind him. Why did they take the belt off Kevin Owens and give it to Goldberg, a part-timer, if so many people got behind Kevin Steen in Ring of Honor? Because that's a much smaller audience that they're catering to. Do you realize that the audience that WWE used to have, that they're never going to get back as long as they continue to write and book the way they do, is nowhere where the indies are? And I know that as much as Magoo Meltzer Magoo likes to say that the indies are on the rise. Oh, are they now? The indies are on the rise. Wrestling is not even popular. People are barely talking about it, and the indies are on the rise. How is this so? I'd like to see proof of this. The ratings are down. He says that WWE is the best that it's been in years. Is that really a fact? Is WWE really the best it's fucking been in years? I mean, in all seriousness, is it the best it's been in fucking years if it's got the lowest ratings? Then the very next week, Meltzer Magoo likes to say that, the indies are on the rise, why WWE suffers with low ratings. You were just saying that WWE was doing very well. Now they're doing bad. Which one is it? And still, you've got this Mama Luke still praising fuckboy Balor, Fat Boy Joe. You've got him praising bitch boy cab driver Sami Zayn, and fat ass Kevin Owens. When are we gonna finally hear some truth about wrestling? When are we gonna actually hear somebody actually speak out and give some criticism? But no, instead, Jinder Mahal's on steroids. I'd rather Jinder Mahal look like $1 million and be on steroids with a great character and great facial expressions and know how to work as a heel and actually know how to work in the ring without having to do 1,000 fucking flips. than have a fucking fat ass who is overrated, who really has nothing to bring to the table and has been doing the same shtick for years. Serious face, you know, serious promo, no character. As Vince Russo said, one-dimensional. One fucking dimensional. There's no layers to the Samoa Joe onion. It is a fucking rotten onion that is going nowhere, and he's proved it. He's had all that time on the indies to get himself over like all these other guys have. At least other guys have done things to get themselves over one way or another. Like CM Punk with his attitude. Or, you know, Daniel Bryan. You know, whatever it is, his magic, you know. The thing is, you know, some fucking Harry Potter shit. No, I don't know. You know, Samoa Joe has been doing the same thing for what's going to be like 17, 18 years. It's kind of fucking sad. It really is. Well, there you go. Samoa Joe's a fucking fat ass. He's overrated. You've got guys like Meltzer Magoo backing him up and the legion of YWC smarky nerds. So that's the truth about Samoa Joe. He sucks. He's not that great. He's not the worst ever. He's not the worst thing. You know, he's not a bad wrestler, but he's overrated. All right, motherfuckers. Until next time.